time scale. I am using the Dream Visions timeline and the World Bank as confirmation. Our freedom, complete freedom of the century of bondage is going to take place before the 5 years are up. We will be free. I cannot guarantee it, but it fits in here with this. During this period, the last Boer Lars dream will be confirmed, where I saw we established a new Boer government. I saw the country splitting, new borderlines. This will take place during this period. It might be that we will not see or even get to the 5-year period projected by the World Bank. Why do I say that? The dream said, and I was shown, when international law is broken, world peace is broken, and England, the UK was hit by Russia. The ducks flying out come about through the chains coming undone. I had the dream about the ducks flying out of this evil tree where all these birds, all these nations were going along. The only birds to fly out were the ducks, the whites in South Africa. The Afrikaners are the only white nation. Only Christian nation who will not go along with the singing of the birds in this tree. The result will be a rejection of this. They fly out. This could be the reason they're unchained and let loose. Their century of being tied to the nations or United Nations, starting with the League of Nations a century ago, has come to an end. Praise the Almighty. These sellout, low-life Western nations found in the West think they threw us under the bus. No. They let us cling on to our faith in the Almighty God of Israel, and our reward for this is our century of bondage coming undone, and the result will be that we will be a free nation protected by God. When will this all come about? Within the next 5 years or sooner. This insight came to me last week, that the ducks flying out are because they have been released by God. The Afrikaners flying out of the tree of nations are being thanks to the Almighty. They are not under the same spell as the rest of the nations who have plotted against God. We have our covenant with the Almighty and have remembered it. This great reset is going to take 5 years to complete. This is their plans, but during this period world peace is broken. Famines break out, and this is all part of their evil plan, but God has another plan. You were told, yes, you the Afrikaners, the Boer nation, and Europeans of South Africa, your chains have come undone. Prepare. May you pray to the Almighty and ask for insights and guidance about these dreams. Just as that dream told me about the chains coming undone, laws being scrapped, and the event will be spoken about for 5 years. Prepare now for the famine. That was the second message dream specifically for South Africa. Let those who hear tell the farmers to prepare for the famine, prepare their fields. Just as Joseph saved Israel and most of the ancient world around Egypt from famine, so God has sent you a message. Prepare. That food is for the nation, and if you prepare with the abundance God is about to send you by way of good crops and yields, that food is going to save millions fleeing from Europe seeking safe refuge in South Africa. Many will flock to South Africa. The food will save many lives. The food will be as in the days of Joseph in Egypt. Did you not hear, my dear brothers and sisters? There is nothing new under the sun. What has been will be done again. We are on the cusp of that grand cycle continuing. Prepare the food, build your new government. The Almighty has decreed, you are a free nation. Your century of bondage has come undone. The past week, I had an insight about F.W. de Klerk. For many years since his decision with South Africa, many of us have been angry about how things went. I was shown a very clear insight about F.W. de Klerk. As much as you may hate him, perhaps you will hate this message, this insight even more, but it was as clear as daylight. I saw very clearly someone speaking on Fox News about South Africa. It could be Tucker Carlson. I see he is discussing South Africa, and something is mentioned on the television that the former South African leader F.W. de Klerk handed over the country in the spirit of mutual benefit. I hear the conversation going along the lines about the goodwill that the whites in South Africa showed in moving ahead from the old apartheid system. I see the world sees how South Africa has gone and how the whites showed full faith and good will towards the new South Africa, and how the ANC had destroyed the dream of many South Africans. The insight is clear. I saw that the goodwill de Klerk did by handing over the way he did. As much as we disliked it actually buys us favor in the headlines in the coming months and years. Other peoples, other nations are going to marvel at how the whites went along with this new South Africa and how accommodating they were. What F.W. de Klerk did with his handing over will be used and spoken of as a positive light when the focus is on South Africa. It could come about when the media collapses and the spotlight is shining on South Africa that they use the goodwill gesture of F.W. de Klerk as the talking point in coming to the whites' assistance or shining a light on the conditions in South Africa. When I had the insight, it hit me like a light shining bright in my eyes, in my head. It was so bright, I could not see with my eyes. It totally blinded me, this event folding before me. I saw how de Klerk's handing over is the thing which will cause the rallying around the whites when South Africa implodes. I have called Mr. F.W. de Klerk, like many of you, a traitor in the past. I now, due to the flash vision or insight or whatever you want to call it, I can see that for that hour, he was the man for the job, as much as we dislike what has happened in South Africa. It is all God's plans, purposes. De Klerk did what he did without knowing that it would be used in the future as a talking point when discussing the condition of South Africa. I do not see much mention of Mandela, but more about the goodwill he showed when handing over, and it will be mentioned that the ANC is a Marxist organization along with the other main political parties. Do not be surprised if they link it to China and create an association with the ANC and Communist China. When I had this insight, I had a complete change of heart. Release Mr. de Klerk from what he did. It is part of the Almighty's plan for the nation. After seeing this, I could no longer bring myself, no matter what has happened, to be angry. It is part of a much larger unfolding. His goodwill gestures will bring the focus and be a focus when South Africa is in the spotlight. Many will not believe that FW will be the talking point on US airwaves when they begin to discuss how South Africa has collapsed and what has happened to it. Trust in the Almighty. Go back to the Almighty. Pray to the Almighty. Draw close to the Almighty God of Israel. Trust in Him with all your heart, all your soul. When the nation does this, events will take place that no one could have thought possible. Nations, leaders will rise up for you, for if you are for the Almighty, who can be against you? May God bless you, bless this nation, and may the Vierkleur, four-color flag fly over a free and prosperous nation, a God-fearing nation, and may we in time be a blessing to the world. Stay safe, prepare and bend thy knee, pray to the Almighty is my only request.